Hi, I'm Dr. VP Shivakumar, a senior consultant pediatrician and newborn specialist from Janya Child Clinics, Chennai. In this video, I'll be discussing with you regarding the various treatment options for bedwetting. The first and foremost thing we should understand is there's big no to shaming the child, to scolding the child, to punishing the child. A big no. That is the first and foremost important dictum of treatment of bedwetting. Yes, parental education and is the main thing I do follow in my clinics when I treat children with bedwetting. I explain them the causes, I explain the basis of bedwetting, I make them understand. Main thing is education and reassurance that everything will become normal as the child grows. In case of a simple bedwetting problem, if it is not associated with any other bladder problems or any other spinal cord defects, we need not worry. That is the first thing I tell my parents. Mostly, this condition resolves on its own. There is spontaneous resolution as the child grows. They outgrow bedwetting. Though they outgrow, it might leave behind the kids with psychosocial problems because the child will be having the constant fear amidst their peer groups, like whenever there is a situation that wherein the child has to go to their relative's house or something like camping activities or any social functions where overnight stay is expected, the child will be feeling very much uncomfortable, and this might lead to lower self-esteem, lower confidence in themselves, and behavior problems like irritability. They try to hide their guilt and behave in an abnormal way. So we should be addressing the child's fears. We should be addressing the child's guilt. We should tell the child that it is nothing to worry, and sometimes kids don't do bedwet, but most of them do continue to bedwet. You can just tell simply that even the parents or even their siblings would have had this bedwetting and it has got controlled. Like, you can just tell them, you can just reassure the kids that even if the child feels guilty, you should reassure that everything is going to be all right as they grow. Reassurance and motivation is the main key to treat bedwetting. Another thing we should look into is constipation. Is the child is having difficulty in passing motions? Is the child having hard stools? Because if the child is passing hard stools, they try to withhold the stools. So they get the motion or stools loaded in their end of large intestine, which in turn might compress the urinary bladder and make the child pass frequent urinations. So underlying constipation needs to be corrected. Main thing is make the child feel comfortable. Make the child feel relaxed. Even if the child feels guilt, you just tell them that everything is going to be okay. Practice the method of appreciation and motivation and reward system. Like, you have to start by giving rewards to the kids whenever the child happens to be dry in the night, whenever the child doesn't pass urine in her bed. You appreciate that particular day, you consider it a festival, you be so much happy and so much loving to the kid. The child might understand that she had done something great, she had accomplished something which leads to happiness of the family. So in this positive note, her subconscious brain will try to function the next day also similarly. Whereas if you scold, if you shame, if you drag the child, if you nag the child when she passes urine in her bed, the child might feel uncomfortable and it might turn to be counterproductive. it will actually delay the age of acquisition of bladder control. So we should never ever scold the child. We should always consider and pay attention to the child's emotional needs. More than physical injury, mind injury, mental stress is more damaging to the child. We should all understand that no kid in this world would like to wet their bed. They don't do it voluntarily. They do it without their control, without their knowledge. We should always consider this fact. And even if we lose our control, if we lose our senses, we should always think that it is going to be normal and we should not scold the child. If either of the parent is scolding the child, at least the other person should remind that it is going to become normal and never ever scold the child. What all behavior modifications we can try is restrict the liquid intake in the evenings and late evenings and night. Say after 7 or 8, you try not to give the child more than the needed amount of fluids. Say 100% if the child is drinking, say for an example, if the child is drinking 100 ml, divide it into 40, 40, 20. Say in the morning to afternoon, the child can take 40 ml, 40% of the fluid intake. From afternoon to the evenings, they can take another 40% and remaining time 20%. Like that. This is just for an example I am stating. You need not be very fixed on your schedule, but you should try to adjust and adapt the kids' fluid requirements accordingly. And most importantly, just before going to bed, ask your child to void urine. Ask the child to pass urine in the restroom. And sometimes after a few days or months, it becomes a habit for the child to pass urine just before going to bed. And in case, without our advice itself, if the child goes to the toilet room and passes urine and then goes to bed, give a reward, at least by placing a sticker in a paper. The days which the child has not passed urine, consider it as a celebration, apply stickers in the calendar. This will act also as a bladder guide, as a voiding guide, as a bladder diary. I usually ask my parents to keep a bladder diary. Say in a month, how many times that the child doesn't pass urine. Just mark it and celebrate that particular day. It will be obviously, when I had gone through the records, it is like 5 days. Another month or so, it is like 10 dry days. Another month, actually the child would have got corrected on its own. So that amount of appreciation, they visualize the dry days. If you put a chart and apply or paste stickers onto that dry days. So it gives a visual representation, it gives a positive note to the kid. Mostly 80 to 90% of the kids get corrected by the above methods. Still about 10 to 15% might have problems. It might not get corrected by appreciation and reward system alone. In such a case, we have to think of bedwetting alarms and medications like desmopressin. Secondary, enuresis. Yes, what happens is sometimes the child would have acquired bladder control. The child would have been dry for more than 6 months, but suddenly the child might have bedwetting. This we call as secondary problem, secondary stress related enuresis. Most often it is due to sibling rivalry, it is due to exam stress, online education stress, COVID stress, and like marital disharmony of the parents, or aggressive disciplinary method practiced by parents. In such scenarios, treating the stressor, treating the underlying stress will help us resolve the issue.